we've been
I
looking.
went over and saw,
Since
Mr.
July,
Judy.
so
Say that
I went
again?
over and saw Mr. Judy on
Okay.
railroad over there.
Mhm.
It is in the easement, and the
Oh.
bark is just, he's got big holes and it's coming off on the side facing the house.
did you tell him it looks good from the road?
Pardon?
Did you tell him it looked good from the road?
Yeah, it's right.
Okay, so what's the process here?
Well, we need to have a cut right.
It gives officially on the list to have Cutright look at it?
Yeah, I mean, that's where, I don't know if you called, Rob, and so Rob could punch it in to put it on the list so that the town is aware that there's an issue there.
Is that something that you can do, or is this something we need to have Rob do?
I mean, if you have direct contact with Rob, it's probably just as fast. That's who I would probably talk to.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it's always been, is they
Yeah.
call the town. If you have an issue with the town, you call the town manager, then he puts in which direction it needs to go.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been, and, but, you know, I'm not saying things can't change, but it makes it to have one contact person.
Right. No, I get it. So,
What time do you gotta get out of here, Russell?
5 minutes ago.
What time do you need to leave?
I'll leave here in about 15 minutes, and I'm really short on time.
Okay. Well, that was your big ask, talking to Mr.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Zach's nowhere to be seen.
Zach is not coming, he's on an airplane somewhere.
Right?
Yeah. Did you
Yes.
talk?
He went to Vegas to blow all his winnings.
That's probably what he's doing. That's what I
Okay.
guess.
Good for him. Did he take his wife?
and he actually went to Florida, yeah.
Yes. He's going where she says he can go.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I haven't heard anything from Stevie. Did you get up and talk to her
I
at
have
all?
not, yeah. I was thinking about stopping by and knocking on doors, see if she's doing okay.
Yeah, I assume I have the right email, but I couldn't. I could not. Okay, well, let's go through what we're supposed to talk about last time. I did not. Carl, this is a question for you.
Sure.
There's this list of approved trees. I have it, but it's supposed to have these nice pictures, but the list that I was given stops after the first page of nice pictures.
I think that's the original list.
That is it? Without the nice pictures?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if this is it, then this is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I thought there was one with,
So, yeah.
Well, so on the computer, there was one on the computer but this is the list that when it was handed out, it's handed out.
to us, right? Yeah.
Yes, but on the computer, it has all the pictures.
Somebody had the pretty one. At some point, there was a
well,
pretty one.
Well, they printed it off, yeah. I think that to us, they just gave us that list there because it was easier and
I
also
guess-
saved a little ink.
What I'm asking is, do we have this with all of the nice pictures?
Digitally, yes.
Yes.
So I asked about the tree board stuff, right? All the historic stuff, and there is a Google Drive link. And it is in there, I just pulled it up. And I wanna say, so here is, and I had her share it to my personal email. So I could not have to, okay, so, under the people that have access, besides all the normal ones, we have, you're listed on as a Gmail.
Okay.
Walker's Sawmill's listed, and Zach's email's listed, and you mentioned this Stevie.
It's on there.
They are also on there. So, you should have probably received some sort of link way back when, and you should be able to get access to everything that is on there. If not, send out an email, and I will try to either have Katie reshare that link, or I can but if you wanna double check that when you guys get home, then you should have, Holly did a good job of setting up, different years and a bunch of stuff in there. So,
So with that, is this out there then too?
that is in there, yes. I can show you. It's called tree planting options.
Tree board, tree options.
Yeah, it's just on the main page, but it has all the tree.
Yes.
Even on the second and third page.
That's
which
what I
there's
thought.
not in the list. Yes, it has all three options.
That's what
So
I'm looking for.
it's just under that main tree board.
Okay.
Planting options. So it has all of the folders, has some history of the invoices.
Okay.
And we have more ordinance in there. So
So that was given to me.
at some point in time, you were granted access to your Gmail or through your Gmail. Like I say, if you can't find that link in your past emails, we can resend another one. So,
Okay, so that takes care of, we've got a list of residents that I reached out to about replanting trees. Katie reminded us, I don't know if you guys saw that email. There's one that's really asking, been waiting for 3 years. Okay, maybe it was just to me. But I need to provide this to them, and I didn't. So if it's there,
it's digitally here.
then I can do that.
You want me just, well, if I can, if I was on my town, I didn't bring my town one, so.
No, that's okay. That's a big deal. I guess I was unaware of that link. I forgot. But that needs to happen still, and I haven't done that. Once we do, then we have to pick who we're getting the trees from. We talked about dogwood, we talked about something Zach knows in Napanee, and we talked
I
about,
talked to Josh here too.
did you? What did he say?
I went to see him, I talked to his wife.
Okay.
And she said he'd get back to me, but he has not gotten back to me yet.
Okay.
And I told him, give us a price on trees, and give us a price on trees plus planting. So I know he's got a spade to plant the trees.
Also, I talked to Jim Hess.
Yep.
And he has not sent me the information, but I do know that they are partnering with Goshen City, Elkhart. There's another one. And he said that Goshen is going to put in their own nursery. And he said that it would be possible that we could use them for trees also.
I'll get a better feel.
Right, because they're partnering with whatever areas, whatever townships are around the area want to work with them. Because way he made it sound, they're going to have somebody, that's going to be their job, is to take care of that nursery for the city of Goshen. But he was going to send it, because when I talked to him, he said, well, I have it on a napkin. I said, why don't you use your computer and send me some stuff? He's like, yeah, I'll get it to you in the next few days. But
Is this something they're looking at long-term, or have they started the project already? They have the land set aside?
Well, I believe that it's moving forward. I don't know where it's at for sure, but I know that they are partnering together, and he said Goshen's going to have their own nursery. Yeah, because he said something about, we could have a couple hundred or 2,000 trees ourselves. Like, yeah, that would be a nice thought, but I don't think so. So I'm not sure who would take care of it or where we'd put them.
That would be cool.
It's not as cool as you think.
No.
No, that's a full-time job to keep them, because you'd have to keep them pruned and so they go a little taller before they start to bush out. If you don't do anything, then you'll have trees that will blend with, that'd be 6 inches off the ground or a foot.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is we're waiting to hear from Welker,
Yes.
quotes on both trees and planting. There's a possible opportunity in Goshen. Is that happening now, or is that going to happen?
Well, Jim made it sound like it's going on right now, but I don't know how far the nursery is. I don't know if this is their first or second year into it, but he just said that it was a big thing and that Goshen was working with Elkhart on this, and Goshen was going to run it because they actually hired a lady to run this.
So they're serious, they've already hired people.
Yeah, they already have a lady to do it, yeah. So I assume if it's not done, it's pretty well not far from being,
Yeah, so they budgeted for the.
oh, yeah,
project.
yep, they already have
Sounds good.
They already have
Take
a
care of
person in there to do, yeah. Yeah, but where it's at totally, I can't answer that, because he was supposed to send all that to me in an email.
Okay, so I'm gonna give this list to people, right?
Yeah, it's out there, yeah.
And they're gonna pick one.
Well, there are, you have to read everything that goes along with it. There are certain areas that certain trees can be planted, can't be planted, that out by the road. There are certain trees that are.
Does this list have the certain stipulations? Because I'm not seeing it on here.
I do not know if that list has it or not.
I mean,
Well,
ideally,
see right here, so it says like, it can only be planted on private property, like this tree, northern pecan. So
okay,
there's,
so that would be a non-option.
unless they want to plant it in their yard.
Correct,
Their
but
space, yes.
This is for tree replacement, so this
Right,
is on
but
the
we
easement.
have also worked with people to, if they want a tree, that we've helped them out also.
Okay, but, okay,
And it's not necessarily that we have always covered it, but I think in the past, we've covered it a few times, I think, Russell, don't you think? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a tree that had to be taken down and the city was involved with it. And so, trying to be a good steward, we, tried to help them out. Because the trees were pretty cheap to be planted.
okay, well, I mean, ideally, I want to send a list and say, here, you choose, and then for them to tell me.
Well, I think that's what Holly did, and Holly would be like, if they picked a tree, she'd be like, okay, but this tree can't be planted in the easement, because, well, like I said, it's private property, I think there's probably 3 or 4 trees on there like that, in that list.
Okay, so can we assume that they know what the easement trees are and what are their own private property trees? And say, don't pick one if it's on easement, and
Well, that's where.
So there is a Word document also in that.
to help
So
flush that out.
you could edit that document to make ones that are
Right.
easement plant
You
trees.
mean
versus-
this?
Yes. There's a PDF and then there's a Word document. Now, all of the pretty pictures are not loading because they must be linked to somewhere.
I think that's probably what I got.
Yeah.
But if you got one that is that a PDF?
Well, the Word document does not have all the pretty
Yeah.
linked pictures. But it has all of the information of the private property versus the.
Right,
It has the text.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
you
it
could-
should be on there, yeah, and if they have that list, they should be able to, I would think that they would, most people would understand it, most people, if they make a mistake,
There you go.
Yeah, I get it.
Thanks for coming, Russell.
And I just got a problem with my mom, so she's upset and crying. I told her I can't be right there. You gotta give me a few more minutes. So,
Yep, we get it. Go take care of her.
so.
Best of
Any
luck.
other really important things that we need to hit on?
I needed you for that. I don't think any of this very important. I think you'll be fine. And if there is, I'll send an email out. You read that, you see that, so I'll update you on that.
Did we ever meet? You're Carl?
Yes, I think we have met once or twice, but I'm sure.
Okay. And you work for the town here? or-
I am on town council.
Oh, town council?
Yes.
Okay.
I took over for Randall. He's
Oh, okay.
struggling to make more meetings,
Yeah,
so
I hadn't seen Randall in quite a while. so.
Yeah, so he asked if somebody else would take over tree board, and I said, sure, so.
Nice to meet you again.
Yeah.
I meet, so many people and I don't see them for a while.
Well, I get that, so.
So you live here in town?
I do, yes. Remington Court.
I live on High Street, Upward.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
if there's anything, and just let me know when our next email me with, and I'll have the full-time slot, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, life happens, right? We get it.
So,
I will
and
send
nothing
email.
really important we have to hit on that.
No, I'm not looking here, not really important. I think what we talked about already was the important stuff.
Okay. I'm sorry to bug out on you
It's
guys.
totally fine.
I was ready for the party and he's got all the dance moves he was gonna teach me a few, so.
I was, but since you didn't give me your dance card, you're out.
Well, have a good night, gentlemen.
Yeah,
You're right.
if you do talk to Stevie,
Yeah,
see
I
if
was gonna-
she's still involved or
Maybe
not,
just stop by and see, because I ain't even seen her around.
do that.
So, have you talked to her at all?
I haven't, well, I heard she responded to my original email and said I'm not gonna make it. So I have heard that much, but not to this email. Not for this meeting. That was the first meeting.
So it's just kind of like an end of the school season, she's got
That could be.
tied up,
That could be, but I mean, this email got sent out, what, Friday?
Yeah.
So she had some time to respond and she didn't, so I don't know. I don't know if she's too busy or, I don't know, but
Find out.
I'd like to know.
I would too, 'cause I haven't seen her for quite a long time now.
I hope
Have a
she's
good night,
okay.
everybody.
You too.
You, Russell. So hopefully mom is relaxed a little bit when you get there.
Pardon?
Hopefully she's relaxed a little bit when you get there.
Well, the nurses call you up and say, can you come and talk to her and see her for a little bit,
I'm
So-
sure she has her moments.
Yeah, she's 9 years old and she just, every little thing kind of upsets her,
Well, yeah,
So,
hey, you're used to,
and she just lost 2 brothers in 1 week. It was about a month ago or so.
it's
So
pretty hard.
you sit there and you think, you think about some of the things, going over things in her head about her brothers.
I have no doubt about that, yeah. Yeah, because she's got a lot of time to think about that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Too much time on your hands. You just sit there and think. So, they just ask you, can you come and just be with her for a while? So, hopefully they got her, maybe they'll come when I get there.
We hope so.
You have a good night.
See
You
ya.
too.
Have a good night, Carl.
You too?
Okay, I think that's fine. I can send them this, they can pick a tree,
Yes.
and then they're gonna have a tree. And then we
Right.
need to go and get a tree, right? So
Yes,
then
we
we're
will.
talking about Goshen, we're talking about,
Well, I
Ebony,
mean,
we're
if
talking
we find
about.
somebody else, because until I get that from Hess, Jim there, I would say we find somebody else, it's, we can visit this at another day too, with the city of Goshen.
yeah, and maybe it's a next year thing or whatever, which is fine.
Right,
But who can I go to? They pick a tree, an approved tree on our list. And now I'm gonna use one of our 3 sources. I'm gonna try to find it. They either have it or they don't. Am I going to them, me personally, to find it? How's this work?
so how it was in the past is that unfortunately Hallie took care of that because she would give them the list. They'd pick off the list, and if there was a question, she would explain it to them. And then she would make the contact with,
Steve,
yes,
which we don't have anymore.
right,
Which maybe we could still ask to say, hey, where can I get this?
yeah, he could give you an idea where, I mean, like I said, I know, they're in Middlebury, I can't think of the nursery there. Big tree working, sell trees.
Dogwood.
Yeah, that's it. Yes,
And that's where, they have a good selection, don't they, Dogwood?
they used to, I would assume they still do, I mean, that was their, main business was, replanting trees, because they removed trees and they replanted also for customers.
I think part of the problem here is we had a process with Holly, right? But Holly was the process.
Right.
But we don't have Holly anymore.
No, Holly was, yeah, so, right, because like the people would call the town and Holly would put it on the list.
She did that.
And so that it was there, then it was, the list was, and then she's gonna talk, the manager talked to Cutright.
Yep.
Because, they would talk to her, because she was a contact person, so that, and then they would go look at these trees.
Yep.
Because she would send them the list.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, yeah, like you said, that part of the loop is,
It's broken.
yes. Yes, and we just have to figure out a way, because it's like I said before, I feel that, it used to be like, our representative was our president on this board.
Mm-hmm.
And then we filled the positions underneath it. Because, they were to give us guidance on what we could and can't do. And then they would talk to, that's before Holly was on it, then they would talk to Holly, and then Holly would relay the information, keep it up to date.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see if there is a possibility of one of the maintenance guys kind of stepping into this role. I know we've shifted some of their roles around, and I haven't talked with either Rob or Alex about this. There is one of them is kind of focusing on the parks. Kind of think this would maybe kind of merge together well. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of hours to put into this.
I don't think it is either, but we just don't know.
Right.
Who are we talking to get
Right,
the trees? Who-
Right. Because I know Rob's got a lot going on his plate, so I don't know if it'd help him if he got a legwork guy that could
Yeah.
do the phone calls and getting the trees and lining that up. Even if he still takes the calls and then can forward them to that person, but
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think that would be okay. It's just,
yeah,
we have to get somebody that,
correct.
and like I said, my biggest concern is that when they have a tree issue, they call the town. And
Right, we gotta have somebody in
Yes,
town to be the
right, so
contact.
somebody to, be the gatekeeper of it, so that they plug it in, and then, and then we can look it up on the computer, or however it is.
Mhm.
Or we, but, yeah, we need a contact person that can keep the list up to date.
So, okay.
Can you float that? The
Yes.
maintenance guy?
That
Whoever-
it is on my list of notes from this meeting. It was on my list to do last week, and I didn't get there, so.
I totally get that.
Yeah, so, cause I knew I talked with Zach, and I knew that was kind of an issue, so I was gonna try to do it last week, so I had an answer for this week, and it didn't happen, so,
Yeah,
but,
I just think there's some confusion around who does
Yes.
what.
yes.
And we can call it, we can make it, this or whatever, but we need to,
Yeah.
Decide what it
define
is.
it.
I think is the biggest problem.
Right. Well, yeah, we have to have a go-to person
That's something.
that, keeps up to date, and then we can go from there.
Okay, he gave me Judy. I think you've got taken care of some of these open items. We're supposed to set a budget. Our budget is 60K. I think that's the budget. You need to break it down.
Well, it's gonna be the problem, I think the way it said is 60,000, 30 for tree removal, and 30 for planting,
Which is
which
kind
we
of the
know
same.
that the removal is gonna be the most expensive part. Because, what is that? Should have to have this over list here. Alright, so this is what we used to get when we come to the, from like Cutright. That he would give that to Holly, then Holly would forward that along to us. And then we would go over the list.
Well, what if we, I mean, this makes sense. We need to see this. We need
Right,
we need
yes.
that data, right?
Right, yeah, because you have no idea what the cost of anything is until you see that.
I think,
Right.
and we probably have some of that going back, but that would take people scraping through that and adding those sums up. And
You're right, but there's a form. There was a form set up for this that Holly, we have something like this right there.
because so it gets tracked, right?
Yes,
And then we can,
so that was
We see
after,
it all.
that was after Cutright had looked at everything. And then, because part of the time he would take pictures too, and then he would forward them, and then Holly would just download them.
none of this is documented though. Like this is documented, but the process of doing all of this, is there a document that says after this person talks to Cutright and then we'll
Well-
load this in after Cutright says this? You know what I mean?
Well, no, there was a process, but it doesn't happen anymore,
Correct.
because
I don't know if there was any order written down anywhere. I don't know if Holly just kind of made her own and did it. Because I don't even know what like
I think that
Troxel did before or even Tom Rayner did before that. I don't,
Well,
you know, I don't
before
have
that, it
history.
was the town council that was the president board, and they took care of all that.
Okay.
Because they would generate that list, but then, when Fred left, nobody wanted to do it, so Holly took it over because none of the council members either had time or wanted to do it.
Right.
And so somebody had to do it, so she took it over. And so I'm sure part of these, they were there, she just had to update them.
you're saying the forms are there? Or what
So-
are you saying?
So
they
this
are
is, so there is somewhere on here, there's gotta be a number because it was updated. But I don't know what you'd have to look on there and see
there?
what.
I guess,
Because for this to be, updated, of course, but it's, 2 years ago that it was updated.
yeah,
So the form is there, it's just,
we gotta use it.
it's just, nobody seems to know where it is very well. Parts.
Okay.
So, and until you get that figured out, you can't necessarily fix it until you get.
Correct. There's so many steps to this process, though. It's really easy when we just talk about it.
Well,
There's a lot of stuff to happen, right?
Yeah.
And someday Rob's gonna be gone. It's, this is all, we're gonna be gone. It's all gonna cycle over. We gotta
Right,
maintain this somehow.
You're right on that, and unfortunately, that's kind of where it fell into the town manager was kind of person that was kind of controlling it. Because people called in and that person talked to Cutright. And so that was a contact person, and then they just put the information in the forms on their computer.
Okay.
So it just, and how you're gonna get back that, I don't know, because it's gonna be a big struggle.
Well, this is going back to Carl. You figure out where this thing is going maintenance wise. If it's not, it needs to get pushed onto this, then we'll make that decision. But let's see what happens, gets flushed out here.
Let's start by, I would like to see somebody that has being employed by the town to take on a majority of this.
This is your job description.
Right, this is
is
part
what
of your
you do.
job description. Yeah, just because personally, I don't feel it's your guys' responsibility to do all the back end stuff.
And if it's, when that person cycles over,
Right. It can be
next
passed
guy,
on,
this is your job description, part of your job description.
so,
That makes sense.
but it needs to, I think it.
It's been the town manager's job
Correct.
description, right?
Yes, because the town manager was a contact person.
Yeah.
Right, because,
So we need to define it, and who's it gonna be?
Yep.
Okay, that takes care of pretty much all of that. I will send out notes I think we take a swag on the budget now, 45, 15. Where would you swag it at? Where would
Well,
you break it down? And then see where it lands and then adjust for
well,
next year.
and that's fine. What I would say is with the 60,000, it's probably gonna be closer to 50 to 10.
50, 10, okay.
Yes, because, that list I showed you on tree removal, which is old, because it's,
Right, no, I get it.
yeah.
Okay.
Right, because, the average tree in here in 25 was $1,000, $800 to $1,400. And that wasn't necessarily always removal.
Oh,
That's trimming,
no,
some other things, some of it was a removal.
I've seen a lot of trees, $3,000 this year.
Yes, yes. And that's,
It's gone up.
inflation is. Right, yeah, because like I said, this one copy of, the 25. This is- Right, like here's one, on Railroad Street, that was $2,560 to remove it.
Yep.
That was last year.
Yep.
Here's one for 2,900. Just depends on what they have to do. It's like, just like when you remove the trees by the maintenance building, pine trees, that was 2,977.
Okay. I will try to compile this list of questions that you're gonna be responsible for. Sorry, you got a lot here. And then we'll see where things shake out, and then hopefully we can move forward more next time. I think this was kind of where we got locked in last year, because
Right.
Holly was gone.
Right.
I'm
Well,
confused, because I don't know
So,
what's going
so
on.
I also know, so they were sending, Cutright was sending Bill Katie, hey, this is who the contact person was on this list here from Cutright.
Well, that's because there was a point where we didn't have Rob yet either, so I think it
Right,
got
but
funky
Rob-
with.
Rob would have been here at that time.
Right, but I mean, at the
Right.
beginning of it, it kind of fell on
Right.
Katie, and then I don't think it ever changed, and then, yeah.
So I'm just saying that's what you guys opted to do, so, whether it's right or wrong, that's just how it fell through. But yeah, I mean, I still believe that, the contact should be the town manager when you call in, because that is part of his job. I don't care whether he says he doesn't have time or if he's whatever, he's a contact person with somebody that has an issue in town.
Right, I don't
So
disagree.
I think it's easy for him to plug it into the computer. And then, then we go from there where who needs to step in from there.
Right, and that's where I was thinking maybe one of the maintenance guys to go around with Cutright and be like, this is the list, or however that works.
Right.
But yeah, no, I agree, Rob needs to be
It just-
answering the phone and
to me, that's
being
pretty
the
important part.
overseer of it, yeah.
Because the form's on the computer somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I know it's out there, so.
Mhm.
And so it makes it a lot easier that he's got that little tab there for the tree board or whatever, it just pops up and it's right there. So, yeah, or that's, maybe my way of thinking is wrong, but I like that, just that he should be that person, whoever it's Rob, or whoever it is in the future, is that, it just makes it so much easier.
Outward facing, but we still need to figure out who's working behind the scenes.
Right.
Which is where you're going to.
Right, yeah, that's what Carl's gonna look into. Yeah, if we get the first step in place, then it's easy to put a second step in. Sometimes you stumble, but,
We'll see.
well, it should make it a lot easier if you get the first step in.
Yes.
It's just, until you get that first step in, you just can't go to step 2 or 3 because you're missing part of the information.
It's true,
And
yeah.
that's where we're at, unfortunately.
Okay, You got anything else? Cause I don't think I do.
No, I said more than I really wanted outside.
Appreciate that. You got anything for us?
No.
Alright, let's call it. I'm not gonna adjourn it.
I'll second it.
We'll see, I'll send out a summary email sometime this week.
And with dates for the next one, or what the
And
date
then
for the
with
next?
coming, yep, next
Perfect.
meeting date, and then we, see what you can come up with. If you wanna email me in the meantime,